Russian literature has long been established as one of the greatest literary traditions in the world. Russian literature, like most of the established literatures, has a nationally distinctive worldview. For example, French literature can be characterized like its art, that is, loose, flowing brushstrokes and brilliant colors with unapologetic love and passion. Russian literature is anything but loose. It is as if constricting the vocal cords to allow only to speak the utter truth, however painful and uncomfortable were these truths. This almost cold and unwelcoming worldview stems from Russia's exposure to extreme climate of their homeland that sets in the harshest realities of life. The bitter cold and unforgiving landscapes of Russia have instilled in these authors a deep appreciation of the messiness and futility of human existence. Their works reflect on understanding that life is not about the pursuit of pleasure or the accumulation of status, but rather a constant struggle against the harshest realities that confront us all. Russian writers are, in essence, poets of reality. They reject the flowery language and romantic idealism that characterize many other literary traditions, opting instead for a stark, uncompromising portrayal of the human condition. Their characters grapple with loneliness, existential crisis, and the moral ambiguities of a rapidly changing society, giving us a glimpse into the depths of the Russian psyche. This literary tradition began in the early 19th century when a new generation of Russian intellectuals, called the Westernizers, aimed to connect Russia with the cultural and intellectual progress of Western Europe. Pushkin and Gogol drew inspiration from European Romanticism while infusing their works with a distinctively Russian sensibility, one that was shaped by the unique social, political, and spiritual experiences of Russian people. Pushkin, in particular, is widely regarded as the father of Russian literature and is celebrated for his ability to blend Russian folk tradition with European literary forms. Gogol, too, developed a unique style that drew from both Russian and Western sources, and ultimately expressed a distinctive Russian worldview. In the latter half of the 19th century, the Russian literary landscape was dominated by the titans of realism, Dostoevsky and Tolstoy, whose profound explorations of the human psyche and the complexities of moral and ethical dilemmas have left a lasting mark on world literature. Alongside these giants, the short stories of Anton Chekhov, with their subtle yet powerful observations of the human condition, have also become essential reading to understand the depth and nuances of the Russian literary tradition. Even though there are many other great writers, such as Ivan Turgenev, Mikhail Lermontov, and many others who have produced influential works of literature, this video essay will focus solely on the 5 stories from my personal favorite writers, starting with Alexander Pushkin's The Captain's Daughter. The Captain's Daughter is a historical novel by Alexander Pushkin published in 1836. It takes place during the Pugachev Rebellion of 1773 to 1774 and follows Pyotr, a young nobleman. Sent to a remote fortress, Pyotr falls in love with Masha, the captain's daughter, causing a rivalry with fellow officer Shivabrin, who also loves her. When rebel leader Pugachev besieges the fortress, Shivabrin betrays the garrison. Pugachev spares Pyotr, recognizing him as the man who saved him from a blizzard years ago, and sending Pyotr to warn the governor of Orenburg while Shivabrin tries to force Masha to marry him. Pyotr rescues Masha but is arrested and accused of treason by Shivabrin. Masha travels to St. Petersburg and convinces the Empress of Pyotr's innocence, securing his release. This novel ends with Pyotr and Masha watching Pugachev's execution. Pushkin's novel highlights personal honor, loyalty, and the power of love and human connections during turmoil. It values moral integrity and courage in adversity. Alexander Pushkin, often regarded as the father of Russian literature, was deeply influenced by his aristocratic background and his experiences with political exile and censorship. His deep interest in Russian history and his exploration of the human experience shine through in The Captain's Daughter, where he weaves together personal and historical narratives to highlight themes of honor and love amidst societal challenges. The Nose is a satirical short story by Nikolai Gogol, first published in 1836. The story follows Major Kovalyev, a St. Petersburg official who wakes up one day to find that his nose had disappeared. The nose, now personified and holding a higher rank than Kovalyev, embarks on its own adventures, The absurdity of the situation highlights the arbitrary nature of social status and the superficiality of societal norms. The story supports the ideology of questioning and satirizing societal conventions and the arbitrary nature of social hierarchies. It emphasizes the absurdity of placing too much importance on rank and status. Gogol opposes the rigid and often nonsensical social structure that dictate people's lives and self-worth. Nikolai Gogol was known for his satirical and often absurdist style, which he used to critique the social and bureaucratic system of his time. His own struggles with mental health and his dissatisfaction with the societal norms of 19th century Russia are reflected in his work. The noir showcases Gogol's ability to blend humor and social commentary, exposing the ridiculousness of human preoccupation with status. White Nights, even though not as popular as Dostoevsky's other works, is a short story first published in 1848. The narrative follows a lonely and dreamy young man in St. Petersburg who over 4 nights meets and falls in love with a woman named Nastenka. Despite their deep connection, Nastenka is in love with another man. The story explores themes of loneliness, unfulfilled dreams, and the fleeting nature of human connection. White Nights showcases the ideology of romantic idealism and the power of human connection, even if fleeting. It highlights the importance of hope and the profound impact of brief encounters on one's life. Dostoevsky opposes the despair of isolation and the inability to pursue one's dreams due to societal constraints. Fyodor Dostoevsky's own life was marked by intense personal struggles, including imprisonment, financial difficulties, and health issues. His experiences of suffering and redemption deeply influenced his writing. The Death of Ivan Ilyich is a novella by Leo Tolstoy, first published in 1886. It tells the story of a high court judge in 19th century Russia. Ivan Ilyich Golovin, who lives a superficial, self-centered life, concerned primarily with social status and material success. His life takes a drastic turn when he develops a terminal illness. As he grapples with his impending death, Ivan undergoes a profound inner transformation, questioning the meaning of life and the emptiness of his pursuits. Tolstoy's novella critiques the bourgeois values of his time, emphasizing the futility of life devoted to social climbing and materialism. The novella supports the ideology of finding genuine meaning through introspection, compassion, and authentic human connection. Tolstoy rejects the shallow pursuit of societal approval and neglect of spiritual and moral development. He became increasingly disillusioned with the superficiality of the upper classes and sought to live a life of greater moral and spiritual integrity. His experiences on grappling with existential questions and the search for deeper meaning are vividly reflected in Ivan Ilyich's journey. A Nervous Breakdown is a short story by Anton Chekhov published in 1889. The story revolves around Vasily Ivanich, a law student in Moscow who experiences a severe mental breakdown due to the overwhelming pressures of his studies and the ethical dilemmas he faces. His encounter with the harsh realities of life, including the plight of prostitutes, triggers his psychological collapse, leading him to question his future and his place in society. Chekhov's story criticizes the relentless pressure and moral ambiguities of modern life, particularly for young intellectuals. It supports the ideology of acknowledging and addressing mental health issues, emphasizing the importance of compassion and empathy towards oneself and others. Chekhov opposes the societal neglect of mental well being and the moral compromises often required to succeed in a competitive world. Anton Chekhov, regarded widely as the father of short stories, is a physician by training and had a deep understanding of human psychology and the complexities of mental health. His medical background and his observations of the struggle of ordinary people profoundly influenced his writings. Chekhov's commitment to realism and his empathy for human suffering are evident in this short story, reflecting his belief in the importance of addressing the psychological and ethical challenges of life. The works of these writers provide profound insights into the human condition and the societal issues of their time. Through their works, these authors explore themes of historical upheaval, societal absurdities, loneliness, existential crisis, and mental health. Their personal experiences and ideologies significantly influence their writings, making their work timeless explorations of the complexities of human life. Russian literature offers valuable lessons in the pursuit of meaning, the importance of empathy, and the enduring power of human connection. Personally, I consider Russian literature to be one of the greatest, if not the best in the world. I am absolutely in love with Russian literature, and the reasons are many. Firstly, Russian literature never shies away from the truth, which mostly is suffering. This is something I deeply resonate with, but cannot come anywhere close to expressing it as clearly and thoroughly as Russian writers. Another reason I love Russian literature is because it overlaps with philosophy and even psychology and goes deep into philosophical ideas and thoughts. The works I have briefly covered possess enormous value that cannot possibly be fully expressed or appreciated except through the actual reading experience. I urge you, the viewer, to familiarize yourself with at least some of these remarkable works.